all started, that she was the villain. It kind of just all
went to a head a bit. And I don't know. I feel like there definitely is some people in the office down here who have potential for this to go to their heads and for them to turn into someone that they're not. And I don't think that's me. I think I have been around, stuff like this for long enough not to get too wrapped up in it. I understand LA and the entertainment industry, and I'm not falling over myself to go to the opening of an envelope and calling, but like I don't really care. So it'll be interesting to see who kind of takes on that persona, and their ego gets the better of them.
Is there anyone that comes to the top of your head that you think could be in that category?
I mean, in my opinion, Rose or Jarvis for sure. But maybe it's a duo but who knows? Like, I don't know. Maybe they have seen the show and they're like, oh, actually, we didn't know the full side of the story, because, like I was saying to them, like, why are you bringing the Kayla thing up to me? Because number one, me and Kayla are fine. And number two, like, you're saying that she tried to kiss him, and that's not the story. So like, if you want to open this up again and go through it, but I'm telling you, that's not what happened. And it's not hearsay because I saw it. So like, don't start shit of stuff that you don't know. And so maybe they've watched that and they're like, oh, that was accurate. We didn't know the true side of the story. So, but I've had no phone calls or texts or whatever. So I think they're happy with how they're portrayed on the show, which is actually exactly how they like.
Who would you say is like the Chrishell of this office? Kind of like America's sweetheart, kind of like gets along with everybody.
I don't know. I mean, I get along with everyone, but so does everyone in our kind of side of the, Brandi gets along with everyone. I wouldn't want to cross Brandi. Like, she, can be scary if you piss her off. Like, I wouldn't want to piss her off. Laura, I don't know. That's a bit like, there's really no comparison in with characters or people who work in the LA office to people that were down here. We are all very different.
That's good.
But everyone is asking about who is this person, who is this person. Like, we're our own thing. Like, well, yeah.
Well, what about this then? I mean, I'm just saying the Mary, because she is quote unquote Jason's favorite. Does Jason have a favorite of the OC office?
I don't know. You'll have to ask him. I think probably the person who brings in the most money.
I was just going to say, or does it change by the day based on who brings in the most money?
Yeah, I think he's got different, like everyone in life have a different kind of relationship with each person, and he obviously respects everyone and gets along with everyone. He's hired them to represent his brokerage. So I think he enjoys us all, and for different things. I know that I bring like a lot of fun to stuff, and I'm kind of less about the let's work 24/7 and more like let's really bond as an office and get this office culture. I'm like the office culture pioneer. I'm like, this is going to be great. Let's all hang out together and let's build these relationships. And he enjoys that, and he's a businessman, and he can see that it is beneficial to the office to have these bonding celebrations of each other and things like that.
Totally. As two final kind of things.
I'm sorry, I talk so much.
No, I would talk to you all day, but I mean, you're busy and you've got a lot of other things to do. I know you were going on auditions before. According to your IMDb, were you Chris Hemsworth's girlfriend in a scene in Rush?
I made out with him for 2 days. It was the best 2 days of my life. Honestly, getting stubble rash from Thor was so good that I was just like, this is awesome. This is literally the best ever. We shared a trailer. He's the nicest guy ever. I got cast by Ron Howard. Ron Howard is an amazing guy. He like tweeted a picture of me, and like I was just like, oh my god, this is crazy. Nina Gold also was in the casting process, who cast Game of Thrones. So yeah, that was a pretty cool gig.
I was gonna say, if you like tall, I mean, based on your type, that sounds like a Chris Hemsworth to me.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately for me, not for him. Very happy for him. He's been happily married for years and years. We actually found out when we were sharing a trailer that we got married at exactly the same day and exactly the same year, but unfortunately 2 different people. So he's still very happily married, and he is a lovely guy. He's just a stand-up, gorgeous, lovely human.
Well, perhaps you should send him a DM and let him know that, you know, this freshman season of Selling the OC is out, and perhaps he should watch it.
I mean, I do have friends on his social media management team, so maybe that could be. I know people everywhere, and that could. I could slip into his DMs and it be read for sure.
What about, you know, there are a lot of shows in the OC. Do you know any of the OC housewives? Like I think Kelly Dodd came to the opening.
I actually don't watch any reality TV.
I
never have done, because guess what? You start one episode and then 5 hours later you get sucked in and you're like, oh my God, like I don't have time to get sucked into a show, which is exactly what reality TV does, because it's awesome. I Love Island UK, I got sucked in last year or the year before, and I lost 42 days of my life. And then, yeah, Selling Sunset, obviously, I binged when I got cast on the show, because I was like, okay, well, I need to kind of see what this is about, because I'm signed up for it now. And The Kardashians, which is a different thing altogether.
Who doesn't love the Kardashians?
Right. I think they're amazing.
Well, you have a new season of Selling Sunset, which will be coming. We have season 6 and 7 coming. Are you, before we wrap up, final 2 questions, are you shocked that Christine is not going to be on Selling Sunset anymore?
Oh, absolutely not. I feel like she, like I said, I think that the ego went to her head a bit. I think she sabotaged her own opportunities by the things she was saying and doing, and she's cut her own nose off to spite her face. And I don't think she ended up being towards the end, before she left, I don't think she was a positive addition to the brokerage. So, you know, it's not surprising or shocking that she's no longer continuing, not only with the Oppenheim group, but with the show, because she kind of, you know, went kind of a bit mental.
I'm not so shocked either. And final question, like, what do you want people to take away from you, you know, as they watch the show? We've seen you close this deal with this very stoic woman, you know, that you didn't think was going to buy the property. I mean, that's why I love watching this show, because, and you like learn a lot from the show. I never realized like a 3% commission was almost impossible when the listing price is so big. See, I feel like I've learned some things just from watching this first season. But what do you want people to take away?
It is educational, and I love how much they actually go into it on our season. That, you know, we talk about the different nuances within a transaction, which is a deal, and, you know, the kind of peaks and troughs of getting a deal done, and the different dynamics of relationships between agents, and, you know, the money aspect, because we work 100% on commission. You know, it's kind of it's a stressful world to kind of put food on the table, but it's what I've always done. Modeling was the same, you know, it was feast or famine. So, which actually famine worked well for my modeling. I'm kidding. But you know, it was kind of all or nothing, which is what I've spent my whole life doing. So it's very familiar territory for me in that regards. But it's dealing with people's personalities, and it's informative, and I love it. I love that they're, you know, showing that we we actually do work, and we actually do it really hard, and it's a big deal to us. You know, it's a big deal for me to sell a $2.7 million home. Like, that's a huge win. So yeah.
And one that's falling apart at that. So
I know. I mean, if anyone has a fixer that they're struggling to sell, and you know, they speak with agents that are like, oh, I only do 10 million, or I only do 20 million, bring them over here.